Okay. Welcome everyone to tonight's program called Styling for the Golden Years. Style for the Golden Years. I'm very glad to see you all here. And I'm also very fond of clothes, shoes, and accessories. And I love all Karen's talks about fashion. And I want to thank the Friends of the Milton Public Library for their support of my events. And now let me tell you about our presenter. Karen Antonowicz's company is called Spirits of Fashion, which is based in Vermont. And prior to this, she and her husband had a business for 5 years in Rhode Island called Nostalgia Antiques and Collectibles. She holds a master's from the University of Rhode Island and taught fashion at the college level for 13 years. Now, please join me in a warm welcome for Karen.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Jean, for that lovely introduction. Welcome. I'm sitting upstairs in our home in Chester, Vermont, and it's hot. I can't believe it's this warm. So I will show you the outfit I'm wearing and explain that. But yes, I've been doing these talks like this in person and then on Zoom primarily during COVID since 2012, since the anniversary of the Titanic sinking in the 100-year anniversary. So I did that for Attleboro Library in Massachusetts, and that's when I knew that you're my audience, because it was a library. I also do senior centers and that kind of thing. And I just think that people who, when you come, you really want to hear about what I have to say, and you probably love fashion like I do. So welcome to all of you. I hope you enjoy this. My typical event is a screen. As you can see, there's going to be a slideshow, but there's a few embedded video clips to just sort of spice things up along the way. And you'll meet some very interesting older women in their pursuit of style and expressing themselves. Then I also show, I have a whole rack here. We'll see how much time we have. But if I don't talk too long, I can show you as much as I have in clothing and accessories. And I took out some of the wildest stuff that I have found. I do a lot of thrifting. I love vintage, but I also love clothing that is inspired by older pieces or by vintage. So I do that a lot. And so I'll show you some of the cool things I found. And just before I get going on the slideshow, I was saying to Jean earlier, my belief is that now I'm in my 60s now, and I know I got to a certain point, probably my 50s or early 50s, mid 50s, where I felt invisible. And I'm like, this, it's almost like, why even bother getting dressed up? Because nobody's going to see me anyway. Not that I'm out there to be noticed. It's not that, but I like expressing myself through fashion and accessories. It's fun. And then I said, what am I doing? Who cares? I'm not going to walk by a construction site hoping for whistling, because it's not going to happen. I want to be happy in what I wear. And I believe that women and men should be able to do that and have fun with fashion and not be afraid. Now, up in Vermont, you don't see a lot of that. I mean, because we have wonderful seasons, but we also have mud season. We have to be somewhat practical. But my escape from that is doing these talks, because I can dress up. I also have a good friend who lives almost an hour from us, but she's been a good friend since we moved up here. She's a style and fashion girl. So we have themed dinners when we can, and we pick a theme. It could be, 50s, it could be 20s, it could be, something crazy like gangster fashion, which we did once. And it gives us the opportunity to dress up and have a good time. So I feel that anyone who's of a certain age and younger, of course, but expressing yourself through fashion, especially with everything going on in the world right now, we want to have fun with it. And so finding your own personal style, authentic style, is something that I'm hoping to inspire you to do if you haven't done that already. So let's go ahead and get started. Oops, let's see. Okay, to go back for a second, you'll see her again, but you probably know this face and this wonderful style. This woman's name was Iris Apfel. She passed not long ago at the age of, I think it was 101. It could have been 102, but it was one of those ages. And she became a fashion icon really later in life. She and her husband were interior designers, and they traveled the world for really great fabrics and decor. They even worked with first ladies in the White House, including Jackie Kennedy. So she has a wonderful history. And what I loved about her is that a lot of the fabrics that she used for her clothing, excuse me, were from interiors, not even what's usually used in clothing, which I think is very interesting. So we'll talk about her a little bit more. Okay. This young gentleman, he's getting older, but he's still young compared to me, that's for sure. Ari Seth Cohen was inspired by his grandmother. She was the most important person in his life. And when she passed, he couldn't be consoled. And he ended up moving to New York City and seeing all of these fabulous older women, and up until 102. And what he's doing is he started to photograph women on the street, anywhere from 60 to 102. Like I said, you'll hear him say that in one of the videos. And they all have fantastic style. A lot of them do go to thrift stores. You'll see one of those happening. And they have their own likes and dislikes, and they will not be told what to wear anymore. And we don't have to either. So that's my strong belief. Let's have fun with it. So he started this blog called Advanced Style. He's still around, still doing that. And it's all about, like I said, women 60 to about 102, how they dress, how they express themselves without fear. So he's a really good guy. I'm going to just show you what I'm wearing. I'm sitting because my office it's also a guest room, and I couldn't get the computer high enough to be standing. But I'm going to stand up and show you what I have. I thrift pretty much everything now that I wear. There are a couple of vintage stores or antique stores I go to when I can still find fashionable pieces for good prices there too. But thrift stores have an amazing amount of great stuff, much less expensive, either vintage or vintage inspired. And even if it's not vintage, if it's just something really unique, I think that's really fun too. I volunteer at the local thrift store, and my husband, Mike, recently became the first manager of the store, the first overall manager, and he's doing a great job. He's revolutionizing the place. So it's wonderful to work there. Partly because, it's very small, but we get tons of donations and we have first tips. Don't tell anybody. We see something we want, put it aside, pay for it, and it's pretty fabulous. So I'm wearing something. I couldn't tell you where I got it. I got it in a thrift store somewhere, and it's much bigger than my usual size, but it's really comfortable. And because it's so full, it's cool, and it's very hot here now. And then the belt I thrifted. It's a vintage green suede with this really cool kind of chunky gold buckle, and a lot of crazy jewelry. I just got these 2 lion pieces really recently, and ring bracelet. This is a vintage bracelet I found. So I'm in all gold. And then I figured a little straw hat just for the sake. Plus my hair is getting colored on Tuesday. You don't want to look at it right now. Thursday, I'm sorry. So I said, I better cover it with a hat. So it might as well be a summer straw hat. So I always like to tell people what I decided to wear for the occasion. Okay. All right. So this advanced style that you see on the right, this is a video that came out, or DVD, whatever. And you're going to see the trailer for that. And it's fantastic. Wonderful. And it's all women, as I mentioned, who are not afraid to go out on a limb, wear what they feel like wearing, be as wild as they want to be, and just have a lot of fun with it. This is the first video, and this is about Ari's advanced style. So enjoy.
When you hear the term fashion icon, who comes to mind? Naomi, Marilyn, Gigi? Well, for influential photographer Ari Seth Cohen, inspiration comes from a generation often overlooked, the very sophisticated and stylish senior set. All right, you started this blog, which has become a very highly influential Instagram account. You essentially photograph these older women who make aging look fun.
It's really been an incredible journey and learning so much from all these women. I start at 60 and it goes to like 105. Oh. And it all started with my grandmother. She was my best friend growing up. When she passed away, I was filled with this deep sense of loss. And so I moved and started to meet all these vibrant older people who were giving me hope for my future. And I knew they could also inspire other people to look at aging differently.
And it's all appropriately called advanced style. Something tells me we are going to meet some fabulous, colorful characters right now. You are the definition of somebody who is 86 years young. Can you tell me what happened after meeting Ari? How did meeting him change your life?
Well, I had been retired in Europe when I came to meet Ari. Everything changed and that I had a career again.
She became a model for Carolina Herrera, Karen Walker, a Japanese skincare in her 80s.
And I hope to do more things. I'm having a wonderful time at 86 years old.
Ari, now you have brought me to Housing Works in the West Village to meet another one of your ladies.
Yes, Alice Carey. She's a writer living in the West Village, and she has a penchant for wearing menswear and is always the most elegant.
So, Alice, what would you say Ari is doing and has done for the 60 and older crowd?
He has given them a place in the world, and be proud that they are that age and buy something and put it on and look like $1,000,000. That's what he's done. He hasn't made age a stigma. In fact, he's basically saying, look, flaunt it.
Now Ari has brought me to the most fabulous apartment I have ever been in my entire life. Miss Deborah over here.
She was the first person through this process who invited me into her home to show me it's not just about style, it's about the way we live, it's about the food we eat, the art we make, the creative lives we live.
I mean, I'm seeing all of these different accessories that you've made. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you make them from recycled what?
Recycled materials, things I find in the street, things I find in abundance in a thrift shop.
Can I ask you to style me? I already feel my attitude starting to transform, but I think I need some bracelet. Okay. It was such a pleasure meeting you. Ari, I can't thank you enough for introducing me to such fabulous women.
Thank you.
I hope to be just as much fabulous as you when I grow up.
So you get the idea. I mean, even the way they live. Iris Apfel was the same way. You know, of course, she had been an interior designer, so her apartment was unbelievable. And you'll see pieces of that too. And it's just like I've always felt very eccentric or eclectic in my style. Now that I'm older, I am eccentric, but you know, I don't always show it. It's in here. But when I do these events, I feel like I can, you know, really let out the joy that I feel when people are really unique in their style. It's just fun. Sorry. Okay. All right. Here's some more women. Just take in what they're wearing. And you might look at that and say, oh man, I'm never going to wear. That's okay. I don't care if you're wearing jeans and a t-shirt, but maybe you feel like breaking out just a little bit. So I always tell people, start small. I've been doing this since, the 80s and late 80s. And so my late 20s into my early 30s, I started realizing that I loved vintage clothing, accessories. And there were a lot of vintage stores back then. What I didn't understand back then was that you could go to thrift stores and find great vintage. That's not as easy nowadays because people have become savvy and there's a lot more people out there buying and reselling, which is good. It's keeping it out of the landfill. And that's a good thing. We want to try to prevent our earth from, you know, just going to pot completely. And fast fashion is very, very damaging to the earth. I think it's 10% of all of the problems we have. I think what's emitting the most, gases or whatever, CO2 gases is fashion production. So we need to slow that down. So thrifting and buying vintage, buying secondhand is a way to hold that off. And these women do a lot of that too. But what I was getting at was starting slow. I remember one of the first things I did was I bought a snakeskin purse from the 50s, which I still have. You know, it has the little legs on the bottom and it's wonderful. And I remember going out with friends and just bringing that purse. And I was in regular modern clothing and they were like, oh my God, that's fantastic. Where did you get that? And it just started this whole thing. And that's why I ended up going back to school and getting a degree in historic dress. So, but you can start small. You might just wear a cool brooch, which, you know, they say, oh, brooches are back, brooches are not in, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about any of that. I don't follow the trends as much as I had to when I was teaching at the college level. I had to know what was going on. Not that I'm not interested, but I just don't follow that. I want what I want and what I like speaks to me, and that's what I want to do. So like I said, kind of a cool piece of jewelry, start there. As you feel more comfortable, you can start getting bolder. I will tell you, about a year or so ago, I was at a senior center and doing this presentation. And one woman came up to me after, all excited, and she said, you know, in my closet, I have a jacket with sequin epaulets on it, and I'm going to wear it to the senior center. And she was so great. It was like so nice to hear that enthusiasm. So I do get that response a lot, which is a lot of fun. Okay, this is Iris again, Iris Apfel. Talk about the queen of jewelry. And she did find so much in her travels across the world. She was a big star at the Met Gala every year. And, you know, people wanted to see what she was wearing. And she'll tell you in one of the videos, you know, I'm not there because of dressing up. You know, it's not so much that. It's just, you know, she didn't care about being invited and being famous. She just wanted to go out and have fun and dress up the way she wanted to. So you'll hear her say that. Great hats. Hats are another way you can start. You can do just some funky glasses, like you see here, some funky sunglasses, even though everything else might be what you've been wearing. We have a website, Spirits of Fashion, used to be .net. Now it's .com. And I'm working on, it's being revamped. You can't tell too much yet, but I want to focus more on women 60 and over, or at least 50 and over, and talk about this and try to give them examples and give them courage and inspiration and have some, you know, some free guides and that kind of thing, to talk about this and help women, because you know, we're out there. There's a lot of us out there. You know, young people, great. That's fine. But we have a lot to say too. And we have a lot to express. And I don't know about you, but I'm just not afraid of it anymore. I think it's great. So you can see these ladies feel the same way. And you might think, well, gee, they're New York City. Anything goes. But really, why does it have to be that way? Here in Vermont, I will see the occasional woman or man who is just dressed to the nines, maybe in vintage, maybe in just something really funky. I refer to the main piece of an outfit. If it's really standing out from the rest of the outfit, I call it a statement piece. So that's what you can do. And I love working with that. Like, I'll show you some great examples. Say you're wearing jeans and a white t-shirt, just to keep it really simple, but you put on this like sparkly jacket for the heck of it. And that's your statement piece. So that's going to be a conversation piece. And, you know, some people might look at us funny when we do that, but I think the majority are going to say, wow, boy, that's pretty brave. Look what she's wearing. And it really looks good. And I wonder where she got it. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And we're not teenagers anymore. At least I don't know how many of you, maybe there's a lot of younger people in the audience, but I don't care about fitting in anymore that way. I just want to have a good time. I want to feel good about myself. Okay, here's Iris again. Look at these fabrics. Look at that coat on the left. It's just screaming like upholstery or, you know, some wonderful couch being made of that. And then all the jewelry she piles on top of it. Plus, she was very known for her big, big statement glasses, as you can see there. Here's the style for the advance. I totally recommend watching this movie because it's so wonderful. Here goes.
I am dressed up to the theater of my life every day. I get such a kick out of it.
I take it to the nth degree. Most people don't.
At one time, I had no self-confidence and I didn't think I could do anything. I came into my own about 10 years ago.
I feel same as I did when I was 18, but I have fewer cares.
I never wanted to look young. I wanted to look great. I think good style improves the environment for everybody.
I don't find it very challenging to go to the fancy stores and just buy the latest trend.
When I was 18, I wanted to go to Paris, so you could turn it around and put the 8 in front and the 1 in front.
There is no time limit to anything. When you look good, you look good.
So, and I like what they said about not needing to look younger. So it's not so much about looking younger, it's about looking like you and how you want to be seen by yourself and by the world without worrying about the trend so much. So that's my message here. Look at that couple on the left. I just love it. I love when a man dresses up. I did an event a week ago in up north. It's an hour and a half from here in Vermont. And it was a very, very small, the higher you go in Vermont, the smaller the towns and the smaller the libraries. And I only had 4 people, but I had a couple. And the man was wearing a vintage shirt, a vintage hat from 1942, I think it was. He showed me the date right there. And some old Converse sneakers that he's had forever. I was so excited to see a man dressed like that in vintage. And he was an older man. And it was just, didn't matter that it was a small group. It was very intimate and it was a lot of fun. But I love seeing men dress up as well. We don't see hats on men anymore, except for baseball caps. And I'd like to bring them back. The woman on the right, what I love is she's got some statement glasses and just that really great necklace. And then this, what looks like a sort of a shawl coat and tucked it into the belt. I mean, it's just use your imagination. More with jewelry. This woman on the left reminds me of Iris and how she would pile on the jewelry like that. I'm not one for mixing prints. I just don't, it's not me. But look at this woman on the right. I mean, would you ever put that together? Maybe not, but she's comfortable with that. I'm not one, I love color, but to mix the prints like that, it's just not something that I want to do for myself, but God bless the people who do. Nothing wrong with it. This is the woman you saw, this woman on the right. She's so lovely. And she said, I don't care about looking younger. I just want to look great. And there's Iris again, and this woman on the bottom with the turban and, the chunky jewelry. They're just fun. Yeah, I wish we were in person in a way, just so I could hear you make comments or, say what you think. But these women are just, it's all about having a good time. The hair on the woman on the left, it's fantastic. I just look at it and enjoy it. That's all I can say. So they are really having a good time. More color. Sometimes you get the monochromatic look where it's all in the same color, maybe little different shades of that color. The jewelry, all the bangles, I'll bet a lot of those are Bakelite, the bangles that this woman's wearing on the right. So some vintage thrown in there for sure. The hats, even the makeup, they're still wearing quite a bit of makeup and get the nails done and the hair. And why not? Why not? Why not? I know when I take the time or the trouble to do that, I just feel better. I just feel better about myself. I just feel better in general. I feel happier. And I know it seems superficial, but really it isn't, because it's coming from the inside and you're expressing it on the outside. I had COVID for 3 weeks about a month ago, and I couldn't do anything. Talk about makeup, forget it. And I couldn't do anything. And it was just when I was finally feeling better, which was like 3 weeks to the day, I just said, oh my God, I can't wait to put something on to make me feel good. I've been in pajamas for 3 weeks. So I'm sure you can probably relate to that. So being well and expressing that joy is what it's about. Here's those some of the same women you've been seeing, but just check out the outfits here. this woman's flexibility in the middle just blows my mind. That woman with the red hair you just saw in the video, those big, big red eyelashes, those are made out of her own hair. She admits that, and I think in one of the videos, which I think is really cool. I think this woman on the far left was a model, and I think she probably still is. And then I love this middle picture, the blues and the greens and yellows. And the woman on the right is just the hat queen. She wears all these really funky hats, and you'll see her again too.
Karen, I was going to say that people do have the ability to unmute themselves if anyone wants to make a comment about it, one of these pictures. Yeah. They're really fabulous. I think they're so cool.
Aren't they wonderful?
They are.
I just love the confidence that they exude. And they just, even though they're not trying to look younger, they look younger because they care about their appearance, and they're not letting anybody tell them that they can't. That's too young for you. This doesn't look right. You're too old. But crap, I don't believe in any of that. But yeah, and if you have a comment, please, I'm listening. This is a little featurette from the Advanced Style. You saw the trailer, but this is a little featurette. This is fun.
Lately, I've been so hungry for color.
I love leopard.
Dyed to match cashmere sweaters and skirts.
Rodarte is my current favorite.
Versace, of course.
I like wearing men's clothes, but what makes it less masculine, I wear like this wonderful brooch.
I like surrealism. I like eyeballs and lips.
I love fashion, so I love designing my own things.
Lots and lots and lots of bracelets, lots and lots and lots of rings.
And the giants, Joan Crawford shoulders, the Claude Montana, Terry Mugler.
Japanese kimono. It's actually a little girl's kimono.
I think it's fun to dress up. It's an exercise in creativity, and it makes you feel better. Sometimes you're in a funk and you put something on and throw yourself around, and bingo.
I am dressed up for the theater of my life every day. I get such a kick out of it. I like to feel better dressed than other people.
You get treated nicer if you're well dressed. You don't want to go around like a dreary old lady.
I don't dress for anybody else. I dress for myself. If somebody doesn't like what I'm wearing, I don't give a shit.
This is what I am. This is what you get.
I have my own ideas what I like and what I think is chic. I dress according to my mood. I have to have freedom. When I move, I move.
Style is inborn, like an artist is inborn.
Look, this is Marilyn Monroe, but I think what I'm seeing here is Andy Warhol. I'm seeing anti-fashion fashion.
You don't want to look crazy. The object is to look as chic as you can, but your average person in the street would never wear this.
Many people are so afraid, and they just want to do what everybody else does and look like everybody else.
Everybody wants to look like everybody else on the one hand, and on the other hand, everybody thinks they are such individuals.
I'd go in the store, big door for section, and they would pick up a dress and everybody's wearing this. But today, don't show it to me.
Girls once in a while. I'm not ready for a convent or anything, so I can wear leopard glasses.
I think a lot of women, especially in New York, really care about dressing. Definitely in magazines, it's only the young women who are, looking great and whatever, and they don't show older women. I get a lot of feedback from women. Wow, thank you. You're giving me permission to go dig into my closet and start dressing again. I miss it.
I never used to tell my age to my students. Always ask me, how old are you? And I used to say I'm between 50 and death. But now I'm very proud because it took a long time to get there. I've just become 90 years old.
Up till 80, you always lie. And after 80, you usually brag. Anybody who's in advanced style has the same feeling I have. As we get older, we get better.
Some people let themselves go. They say, oh, I'm old now. But my mind is not old. I think young.
There is no substitute for life experience.
Young women, you're going to be an old woman someday. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. Don't worry about getting older. Every era, it builds character.
So again, you're getting, I'm sure you're all getting the point. And they make me smile. They make me laugh. And, you know, she's one woman, I'm not going to a convent. I can wear leopard glasses. And they're just, you want to be their friend, you know, you really do. And, you know, it's a freedom that comes about from a certain age. You almost have this freedom that, you know, we didn't have before, because now we can express ourselves. We're not looking to, you know, necessarily, all right, I want to meet somebody. I want to look as attractive as I can. You want to look attractive for yourself and to feel good about yourself. And that's the message they're giving us too. Okay. Oh, look at this crew. You're seeing a lot of the same faces that you saw, and just wonderful color. Look at the hats. Oh, I don't even have to talk when you're looking at some of these things. Just take it all in and be inspired. That's Deborah, the one in the front here on the right. That was the apartment that Ari went into. She invited him to go there. You're going to see her again. She's going to take us thrifting. But just check out the cool hats that they're all wearing. Some of the colors they have on. Again, I'm not a print mixer, but some people just, and you know, if you read about style, some of the magazines would tell you, if you have two prints that you think might clash, as long as two things are happening, it's supposed to be safe. They should have similar colorways, similar colors that are going to, you know, sort of coincide. And the other thing is, one print supposedly should be bigger and the other one smaller. But that's a rule. I don't believe in following rules anymore. Oh, look at the black and white, just all black and white. Reminds me of the 60s with the art movement, just everything being crazy black and white. Sometimes it made us dizzy. It was more like a optical illusion, but it was wonderful. And then all of the jewelry this woman's wearing. Oh, feast your eyes. Feast your eyes. The woman in the right hand, that one with the belt, the two belts on. I love that. You know, two belts. Why not? Look at this. Now, the woman on the left, that is when I used to teach fashion history, the Egyptians would have those kinds of collars, and they would usually be turquoise, lapis lazuli, and carnelian. And that was just a very, very, you know, it showed status and wealth. And that's what I think of when I see that. I don't know where she got that, but it's fantastic. More color, more pattern mixing. Love, love, love. And this is my favorite video. This is Deborah again, and she's taking you thrifting in Housing Works in New York. And she's very daring, which you will see in a minute.
Here we are at Housing Works, weekly addiction, and this is the best. This is our local flood shop. Housing Works. Oh, because they have the best stuff. They have what, 10, 12 stores in every neighborhood, and they're always changing, and they always have sales. So it's so much fun. You come and you don't know whether there's going to be a 50% sale on all women's clothing or 35% sale on all pants. So that makes it exciting. So we frequent all of them. It's like our sport of choice. You just scour the place and you see what turns you on. So for one, can I show you what I just found? A leather dress. It's like butter. It is so soft, beautiful detail stitching. Nothing I've ever worn or even seen. The other best part is, look, I can open this like this so I can actually walk and go in the subway. This is a little mundane. Or is it over the top? Not that we're worried about over the top. What do you think, guys? Any feedback from the audience? Yeah. Yeah, nothing like an orange boa. You know how I love orange. Orange is neutral. Orange works with everything. Oh, it's just, and then having tomato tights on, then, you know, a little bit of orange with the tomato makes sense. This beautiful fur. And I'm not big on fur, but when you buy it in a thrift store and it's secondhand, it's already there. So, and the same with leather. At least you're recycling and revisiting. It's a sweet little Angora sweater. Not exactly my style, but it's kind of cute. It's very cute, very cozy. Oh, $25. Got a little glitz here. That's a little too glitzy for me, but it's quite a piece. Copper sequins. It's too real. It's too much like a real lady's garment. It's not fun enough. So it's not only about the fabric and the surface, but it's also about the shape of the garment. And after you've been thrifting a while, you know, you kind of have a developed eye and your eye just catches things, especially if you know what you're looking for and what your style is. When I lived in California, we thrifted all the time. That was in the 60s and 70s. And when I came back to New York in the late 70s, I lived near a Salvation Army, and that's always where I went. But look at this little treasure. Oh my God. That's a treasure. I would find a way to put these pieces down and then put something around the neck and wear it as jewelry. It's just such a yummy color. It's like caramel and butter mixed together. I don't know how to cook cuts of meat. I don't know how to identify them because I've been a vegetarian most of my life. But I just think this is a yummy piece. I'm not big on clear colors, but just add a little grayness to any color, and that's my palette. Oh, what the? That is wonderfully bizarre. I don't even know what this is. It's like fake suede. I mean, it feels like armor, but it gives me ideas of taking old sweaters and turning them into a tubular bodice. Look at the back. It's quite nice. I could try this on for the fun of it. So here it is the traditional way. Not very interesting. It's simple. My whole life I've been opposed to black because I figure there's such a fabulous range of color. Why does one need to go to black? It's much more fun this way than the other way. You know, I have this motto that, you know, if you can't wear something upside down, inside out, and backwards, it's not worth owning. Maybe with a big cinch belt here would be really cool. What did I learn today? And it's worth trying anything on because you just never know till you put it on. I mean, that's the thrill of thrifting. Have fun.
Oh, she's a hula. And you know, the great thing is too is that she can laugh at herself, you know.
We are.
Well, go away. Let's see. Yeah, okay. You know, she knew she was being silly with turning it around like that, but she could have fun with it and laugh at herself. Here's some more gorgeous styling photos here. And the hat lady there. And, you know, I don't do a lot with men. I don't get a lot of men in the audience, but I'd like to add more because look at how fabulous these older men look. I have a good friend who's, Catherine is her name. Her husband, Will, whenever we go out, he wears Hawaiian shirts. And the other day, my husband and I were at the thrift store and we found two, sent him pictures of them. And he says, oh, yeah, my closet will like those very much. So they were $2 each because we had a 50% off sale. So he's going to be thrilled with them. But I just love the style that these men are showing there. Just wonderful. I'm not sure. That hat looks like a popover on the right. I don't know how that was made, but it's very interesting. I love old is the new black. And that's, again, the picture of the promo picture for Advanced Style. And this is the last video. This is the documentary that Iris Apfel, you might have seen it. I've seen it a couple of times and well worth it. So here goes.
It didn't give a damn about going to the party or being at the party. It was getting dressed for the party. And there's truth and poetry in that.
So Mary Bird herself, over 75 years of influence in fashion, interior design, the icon Iris Apfel.
That's so nice to hear. Makes a girl feel like there's still a chance. I don't have any rules because I would only be breaking them, so it's a waste of time.
Iris is an artist. What she uses all of her clothing and her accessories to do is compose a new vision.
You look very voguing.
She has the most remarkable collection of couture costume jewelry in the United States.
I like to improvise. This on playing jazz. I was probably the first woman to wear jeans. Sounds crazy. It was.
I'd like to feel the pulse of her excitement about living.
Mrs. Loman, the original, said, "You're not pretty, and you'll never be pretty, but it doesn't matter. You have something much better. You have style." I get more kick out of this. It costs $4 and change, and if my husband took me to Mary Winston.
It's not a dull marriage, I can tell you that.
Their fabric company had done a lot of work for administrations in the White House.
We're not supposed to talk about the White House. They get very upset.
We had a problem with Jack.
Stop. Everything I have, I go out and find.
How often do you need to fix?
Oh, I like to have it more often than I get it.
I've never heard you say, I don't like the way that person dresses.
I can't judge, but it's better to be happy than well dressed. In the words of my grandpa, a woman is as old as she looks, but a man is never old until he stops looking.
You know why I think you did this film? Because he's very handsome, and I think you really had a crush on him.
Everybody does.
I know.
He's like a magnet. My God.
Very interesting woman. Very interesting. God rest her soul.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the end of the slideshow. This is me. This is crazy. I have a very good friend in Franklin, and I stay with her most of the time when I do the Massachusetts events in person. And I had thrifted that skirt at like a Salvation Army, and that's a 40s jacket and like a 40s hat. So it's hard to see up close, but if I turned around, that's like a sailor collar. The back comes to a point and has another big white button on it. So I just threw together this crazy conglomeration. This was a few years ago. So that's what it's about, having fun with what you already have, and then going like thrifting or vintage or wherever you go to shop to find another unique piece to add to your closet. Of course, my closets are bursting. I will admit that at least once the whole rail fell down with all the clothes with it because it was just too full. Well, we won't go into that too much. So, but a lot of fun. So thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen, and let's see. Stop the share, and I'm going to start showing you what I have. Okay, let's get rid of that. Just come here. Okay. All right, let's go. Okay, so I'm going to have to take them down a little at a time. All right, I was talking about statement pieces. A woman came into the thrift store last week and brought a few things in, and this was one of them. And I know it's hard when you're not in person, but you can get the idea of what it looks like. It's all shot with gold. And I added this vintage brooch to it just to give it a little more interest. But the label is cachet. If you can remember that from the 80s and 90s, they were a store in the mall, expensive, very flashy, very 80s and early 90s, just beautiful. And so I had to buy it. Even the button is fancy. So I wore that at the event the other day. And I'm going to go to my belts 1 second here, because about a year or so ago, I found a cachet belt, and it's my favorite belt. This will make a statement of any outfit you have on, whether it's jeans or just a simple dress. You put this baby on, and there's your statement. And I got it in a consignment store. I think it cost me like $36, $38. Best money ever spent, I swear. And the cachet is wearing off. It was well loved, and I love it just as much. So I'm giving it a new life for sure. The next piece is I have a story. There's a thrift store in Claremont, which is only a half hour from us, from where I am now. When I went in, of course, I always spot the crazy things right away because I can't help it. My eye just goes right to it. And this jacket it's just like I can't even explain it. It's not velvet, almost like a velour. And then it has this incredible satin lining. And look at the velvet. I believe it was a sample piece. Don't know the designer because it's not here. It's just the piece that the designer's name would go on. And I just loved it. So I know the owner, and she said to me, well, she said, this just came in. And she said earlier, a young girl or a young woman came in and held it up to her and said, why? And I said to the owner, I know why, because it's fantastic and I'm buying it. A couple years after that, I found these pants. Okay. These are wide leg, very, very wide leg, velour. 70s, if you remember, some of you, I do, very high waist, very flashy, very wide leg. We used to call these elephant pants. And incredible, incredible design on that. And they're in great shape. They do fit me. I can't believe it. Handmade. There's no label. They were handmade. And one of my attendees, when I brought these two things in, I didn't even put them together because I had gotten this one so recently. And one of the women said, oh, they need to go together. And if you could see it up close, you can see all the colors do go together. So you don't have to do the whole outfit. You could do one or the other. But if you want to be like the ladies you saw on the screen, go with both and then add jewelry. Okay, this is a piece that I just got. I was thrifting last week. And this, I love these colors. This is not my palette in terms of what looks best against my face. But again, if I love it, I'm going to wear it anyway, even if it's not flattering as much. This is a skirt, so who cares? And it is, let me get the label here. This is a Talbot's, and I got it at Savers, and I love it. And it's still got the tags, original tags on it. And let's see, where is it? Here's the original Talbot's tags. You can see that, okay? The price is torn off, but the price I paid was $13.49 minus 30%. Why? Because it was Tuesday, and that's senior day. You get 30% off anything you buy. So I was very excited about that. And then I remembered one of the first purchases I ever made at a real vintage store was this silk incredible scarf. Look at the colors. And I bought it with a yellow short sleeve cashmere sweater, which I no longer have. Oh, I always say I need to downsize, and then I'm always sorry when I did. But anyway, this I remember thinking, and it would totally go. Like if I had just a plain white blouse and I wore this like around my neck or whatever, you know, as an accessory, it would go perfectly with this. So you never know like what you already have and what you can buy that seems like it won't go with anything, but it will. A couple of crazy skirts. I'm not crazy, but just fun. So let's say you're going out and you know you kind of want to be simple on the top, just a regular shirt, t-shirt, whatever, but you want to have a little party on the bottom. These two skirts were thrifted. They're really awesome and sparkly. So that gives you another statement piece right there. This maxi skirt is gorgeous. This is an incredible at Laura Ashley vintage skirt. It's probably 90s. It's not that old because of the label, I can tell. But it is pretty much a maxi skirt. But I hope you can see how pretty that pattern is. Beautiful for the fall, a gold with a deep red and then the black background. You could really keep that very simple, or you could dress it up and put something glitzy on top as well. About a year ago, I found these wild pants, which remind me of the 60s big time. They're velour. They were all these crazy colors. They were handmade. I can't find the tag. No, they were not. I'm sorry. They do have a little tag, but I think you know what? It says Nepal. So I think they came from a store here in Chester, but they ended up in a consignment store. So again, this isn't everybody's thing, but they are a full leg and they're like a reproduction of 60s style. So I was really excited to find that in this consignment store. a statement blouse. I love blouses as statement pieces because you can put black skirt or black trousers with this great leopard. And if you can see, it's also got sequins on it. So it's sparkly, it's this beautiful print, has a little bit of shoulder pads, and even the zipper. Let me find the pull. What happened to it? It's flipped over. The pull is even fancy with rhinestones. I've worn this many times. But you can, it's made in China, but it's the label. Sometimes you can really tell the age of something by the label. And, now we have these labels that they're printed on, and especially things like T-shirts, you throw it in the wash a few times and now you can't read the size or the care anymore. Well, how do I wash this again? I don't know. I can't see it anymore. So you know what I mean. So when you see a real printed label, it's kind of exciting. One of my favorite pieces that I got, I don't remember where, it could have been Savers, one of those stores, could have been vintage, but this is an 80s blouse. And if you watch Golden Girls, you will see Dorothy and things like this, but I love it. It's got an asymmetric collar with buttons all the way up. I don't have it buttoned correctly, but it looks beautiful under a jacket, a simple jacket. Really, really classy. I've got about 3 or 4 blouses this style, but I just love the print in this one. And it's like it's not real silk, but it's a heavy silk-like feel. I think it's probably polyester because everything was polyester back then. But it says, let's see, yep, 100% poly. So I might sweat a little bit in this, but it's worth it. It's gorgeous. And this next piece was given to me by my friend. It had been her mother's. And I love the collar. Again, it has this really cool collar. It's a Liz Claiborne. And you can see just that little bit of an off-center kind of a cool collar. And just a statement piece, but a little bit more subtle than what I've been showing you. So it can be worn with jeans or with just a plain trouser or pant or skirt and still be a conversation piece. And the other thing to remember is most of these things are one of a kind now. You're not going to be running into somebody who's wearing the same thing. The next couple of things are vests. I like vests. I think that they add just another layer of interest to clothing. I found this recently in a thrift store, and I thought it was cool. It's like sort of, what we used to do to our jean shorts, the cutoffs we used to wear when I was a teenager, but it also has studs. And I just thought it was fun. Like when you want to kind of just toughen up your look a little bit, you wear this jean vest and you've got something a little bit unusual on. And there's skulls and stars, and the studs are not just plain studs. They're all little different designs. So a lot of fun to wear with a t-shirt and jeans maybe. One of the events I went to, one of the women who attended wanted to show me a consignment store that she goes to. So I went with her, and this is one of the things I found. And again, if you want to have a little tougher look, this is a fantastic leather. Looks like a biker vest. I don't ride motorcycles, but you've got the belt like a motorcycle. But look at that embroidery. Look at that embroidery. It's just fantastic. So if you want to go a little bit, toughen up your look that day or whatever, like I'm a badass, right? It also has that feminine touch with the floral embroidery. So that was fun. These next two, when I was in Savers with my friend, she said, only you could get away with that. It's like camouflage, but all sequin. So it's fun. I wore it to, I love Queen, the band Queen. I love Freddie Mercury. And they did a tribute concert in Rhode Island a year or two ago. And I wore this with jeans because I said Freddie would love this. He was flashy and he would have loved this. It's just like a regular, like a jean jacket, but just all sequins, but it's that same style. So that's fun. And where do you see this one? If you really want to be sequined out, this is what you wear. It almost looks like I should be an MC, like at the circus or something, but it's fun. It's got like every color sequin you can imagine. And with a plain outfit, it's going to stand out. It's going to pop. And again, people will say, well, they might not like it, but they're going to give you credit for busting out there and wearing something unique. Now, I'd forgotten this until I was going through the closet to get things out for you folks tonight. And a friend that was making fun of me for buying the crazy jackets She bought me this once, and let's see if this is a little too much with this jacket. It's the same thing. It's a tie with sequins with charms at the bottom that jingle. Too much? Maybe, but I loved it. You could wear the tie on its own, let it do its own thing. We have the store in Providence, as Jean told you. One of our really vibrant vendors had this piece with a skirt that matches. I didn't bring the skirt in tonight, but the skirt has this velour kind of braiding in like 3 or 4 layers on the bottom of the skirt. And so I said to my husband, I tried it on and it fit. And I said, this thing is so hideous. It's great. It's fabulous. You know, it's just so cool. And it's beautiful, soft leather, has all its buttons. It's vintage. It says 100% genuine leather. It's gorgeous, made in Italy. So I've worn the jacket on its own and the skirt on its own. I don't really wear them together. I like to sort of separate them, but another statement piece right there. Great color. Great
I love the color, Karen. I love that color.
Oh, me too. This is just an interesting vintage piece, probably 90s or early 2000s. I like it because it's fitted and it's kind of long and it's very light. It's velour, but it has these beautiful colors in it. So you could wear a very simple shirt under it, even a t-shirt with jeans or with, even leggings because it's long. And it just makes a really cool outfit, very interesting for winter or fall, most likely, because it is a velour. It'll be a little warm for now. And then this last piece that's hanging, I got it in an auction when I was with a friend last summer in Bellows Falls, Vermont. And they had a discovery auction is, long story short, is where you don't just bid on pieces. They only put the pieces up for bidding where people say they're willing to start at a certain bid. The rest of that bag or box that they are currently looking at will go for like $20 for the whole thing. So this actually, I think I bid on because I loved it and it fits and it's fantastic. Now, I never thought I'd wear 80s again. But now that I'm getting older, I'm like, oh no, this is too good to pass up. So here it is. Ta-da! And it even has these buttons on the side. Look at that. And it's a designer. It is Arnold Scazi. So I've got a couple of Scazi dresses from that auction. It's polyester. I think it's got, let's see. Yeah, they don't have they don't have it. This was a sample. You can tell, but when you look on the inside, the construction, because it's Arnold Scazi, it wouldn't have been unfinished. And you can see the stitching. See? That's a sample. And that it's even marked with a number. So I just couldn't, I love it. I just absolutely love it. You could wear it with any color shoe you wanted because it's just fantastic. And then real quickly, I know I'm going to start with belts because I already did one belt. These are all thrifted or from vintage shops or consignment. This I got recently, and I just think, look at the buckle. It's paisley. And it's this rich kind of rust color. Geiger is the name that's on there. It's a beautiful belt. I love this kind of belt that can be worn kind of low on the hips, sort of like what I'm wearing now with that crossover. So it just hangs. It was very 80s looking.
Kind of matches your hat, Karen. It matches your hat.
It's funny. And even that skirt I showed you that was Talbot's that had those beautiful colors. I found these last week at a Savers. This is Franco Sato. They fit me really well. I used to get them at DSW all the time. Same matches the belt. I didn't do it on purpose, but I did think of it when I saw the shoes. I said, I think it's going to match that belt. High heel, but sturdy. I would wear these for like a certain outfit, maybe out to dinner, but I wouldn't walk in them all day because that is a high heel. But they're gorgeous. They're suede. Look at the color. And they fit. They're fantastic. So those two would go together. This piece I found recently. I used to have these in the 80s and early 90s, but I got rid of them. So I bought another one. And it's just like a really cool statement belt on a plain outfit again, black dress or whatever. And it just looks really, like it pops. It's just the gold. I love gold and black together anyway, always have. I think it's rich looking. And then look at this vintage belt. Look at that. That's from the 50s or early 60s. And it's wide and you just tie it. It's very small. You tie it, would be right at the waist, but it's another statement. And like a velour, almost like a felt, like a fur, like a fake fur, not velour, like a fake fur. That's what that is. And it's just wonderful. I love it. And then shoes, we're almost done. These are Betsy Johnson. I got them for a song. They were new. They were in a thrift store. Aren't they fantastic for the summer? And platforms are in all the magazines now. Again, not that I say, oh, I have to follow all that, but it's kind of fun when you buy something thrifted or unique and you say, what? They're probably selling those for like $1,000. But these are very cool. Betsy Johnson for a song in the thrift store. And then these were from the same savers. I got the skirt, same time. And somebody had tried them on and cast them aside. And boy, I love them. Look at these. They happen to be my size. They've got the embroidery. This pink, I've been seeing this light pink in the fashion magazines too. And it's a suede, chunky heel. And this ties all the way around. It's just so unique. I would totally wear these. And the price was $14.49 minus the 30% for the senior day. So how could I not buy them? It's impossible.
They would make me 7 feet tall.
but it's great. Stand tall, right?
Yeah.
Stand tall. A couple of scarves I've thrifted. This beautiful, sparkly, like a copper and bronze you can wear. It's a long scarf, so you can, tie it in a number of ways, or you could wear it as a belt. Very pretty. Let's see. What's another one? Oh, I just found this one. Scarf. Look at this. It's like vintage skaters. And it's a silk scarf. Isn't that fantastic?
Beautiful.
Just never know. You have to experiment. I'll just go with a couple more of these. This is a shawl. But, I listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of young resellers or upcyclers. They call this, I just had it. Now it's gone. Late in the day. This is a new thing for me. I can't get words to come to me. That scares me. It's old age, but whatever. But it's this like almost like a granny square, but much smaller. And look, it has sequins throughout and then fringe with sequins. And how simple to just throw it around like this, even over a very casual outfit. Now you have something that's very unique and somebody will say, where did you get that? Trust me. So I love that. And then if you want to make a little noise, you want to wear one of these. Now this is kind of like, it's a belly dancing scarf, but it's green. Can you see that color green? And you wear that around you and they will hear you coming. You wear it as like a little sash around you, a little belt, a very wide belt.
Karen, I just have to tell you that my friend Marcella Ehrlich, my Czech friend, she's on the call, and I went to her house and we did belly dancing in those scarves. Yes, and she may have something she wants to share with us about that. But they look just like that. They're beautiful. They're really beautiful.
Them. I'm going to step out for 1 second. I didn't realize my battery's low. I'm just going to plug in. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that.
Thank you all for being here. I just love to see all the pieces that she has. And I don't tend to go to thrift stores, but she came, thrift shops, she came last fall and brought all these really cool items, a lot of them with her. And it was so fun to see them. It was she just has the most creative way to put together an outfit.
Okay, let's see. I'm almost there, folks. I will be right there. Let's see. Is that? I hope it works. Let's get it in the plug. I don't want to lose you.
I was telling Karen before we started the call that I had my laptop plugged in upstairs, and the plug came out, and it said it was dangerously low on battery. So I had to do the same thing. Yeah, I had to do the same thing.
Yeah. So we should be good now, thank God. All I've got left is a couple of bags, and then I'll take some questions. This bag.
We do have some questions here, Karen. That's good.
Sure.
Yeah.
How you like this, folks?
Oh,
we're huge in the 50s with the plastic handles, and it's like a velour, not velour, like a felt. It's like a felt, and it has a very roomy interior of that same felt, but it's got these crazy flowers on it. So as I said, you want to go crazy with fashion, but you're going to start small. Start with a crazy bag, and with a simple outfit, and people will talk. Hopefully, complimentary talk, and even if not, so what? The last bag this is really cool. This is a 50s or early 60s bag. It is I believe it's a needlepoint, if I'm not mistaken. Lucite handle, which was popular. You open it up, and it's got this just simple black, probably came with at least a comb, maybe a mirror back then. So very simple, but it has a special little trick to it. So look at what you're looking at. Okay. I'm going to just fiddle with this little thing on the side. And you open that little thing, and now you have an evening bag. So it converts. You can take that whole cover off and use the black for evening, and this is your day bag. And it just snaps right back on. How cool is that? So I'm going to go ahead and end it with that, and hope you enjoyed all my quirky clothing and accessories I've shown you.
I loved it.
I want you to have fun. So thank you so much. And Jean, thank you for hosting as always.
Oh, you're welcome. We have a whole bunch of questions, but I just want to say one thing before we get to the questions, which is that I've discovered Karl Lagerfeld.
Oh,
and I have 3 dresses, which I bought at Frugal Fanny's in Westwood. And they are all unique and so cool. One is black and white and has these pearl trim, beautiful collar. Unbelievable.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Oh, that sounds great. I loved him.
One is blue, and it has all these applique blue flowers. I wore it. I hosted a concert. It was so fun to wear that dress. And then I have another one which has it's a summer daisies dress for the summer. And it's the coolest. He does the coolest things. And these were all not expensive. I mean, they're very expensive originally, $400 or something.
Yeah.
But I think I probably paid $40 at Frugal Fanny. So I just wanted to share. That's my little.
I'm so glad you did. Hold on to that's fantastic.
They are so cool. I will take pictures and send them to you so you can see them.
Oh, I would love that. I was going to ask you that.
I will.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so that was a wonderful presentation. I really enjoyed it so much, and I think we all did. So let's see. We'll go to our questions here.
Okay.
Ginger says, I love all the items you showed from the consignment stores. It inspired me to go to Savers and get a little creative and crazy.
Yes, you go, girl.
And I said, cool, Ginger. Karen has the greatest pieces to show us always. And then Charlene said headband. And I think that was in response to something you had showed. And then Ginger said, the belts and jackets are amazing. My mother used to shop at Cachet.
Oh, yeah, I love Cachet. Yeah. I love that store. And they're not around now, but boy, if you see them out in the wild, grab them.
I remember that, sure, in the malls, yeah. And Donna says, hi, Karen, great fun. Several years ago, I bought a Persian lamb fur coat with mink collar at a Newport vintage store, told probably from the 40s, sitting in my closet, and would love to update it in some way. May I send you a picture to get your opinion on what you think might be possible? One friend told me to lose the mink collar and replace it with black leather collar. What do you think?
Wow. I'd be happy to look at it. Absolutely. I'd love to. I'd love to see it, and I can give you can email me. Eugene, you have all my info, right?
I do. Yeah. In fact, I can send everybody Karen's email if you like.
Please.
And I did give I did list your website information here as well.
Oh, good.
And then also, let's see, Donna also said, one other question. Do you know of any vintage thrift stores that you recommend in the Boston South Shore area?
Boy, it's because I'm not there anymore. I worked in Back Bay for 8 years, but that's it's been a while. So I don't know offhand. They used to have some wonderful things in Boston, wonderful stores, but I don't because I've been up here 5 years. So I haven't been. When I go and do events, I usually don't get to the stores too because I'm just too. There's not enough time. By the time I have to
Yes.
get to the place I'm going after that and where I'm staying. I'm trying to think of anything I've been to in the past, but you know what? I will say this, and I don't know of any names offhand. Savers is great, Goodwill too, but they're starting to raise their prices. What I would recommend, and you can look them up if you just look them up online, you will find or on your phone or whatever. The smaller thrift stores, the church thrift stores, those are the ones that a lot of times have the best stuff because they're not for profit. And a lot of people who have really nice things would rather take their things there that are going to a really good cause. So anything, and sometimes it's pop-up places, like you might have like a vintage market or well, right now, like Brimfield has been happening. I think it was last week, Brimfield. So that talk about a big market. But in terms of consignment and thrift, I would say just look on, see what they have available on the internet, what's close to you to go to. But the smaller ones can be the best surprises because I have found some incredible things in the little mom and pop shops, or the one that we have here in Chester. Just you never know what's coming in the door. So
Now, Karen, so don't you remember when we did the thing last September? I think it was September. You came with the vintage clothing and we had a small group. Remember, there was a bunch of good suggestions of places to vintage
I wish
clothes.
I'd written
And
them
I
down.
probably have those notes. So maybe what I'll do is I'll try to find those and send them to
Oh
everybody.
yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll look in my files for that.
Yeah. And it changes all the time. There's new ones coming in, some close down, but
do you know about that one I used to live in Cambridge for many years, but I don't remember the name of it. It's called the Factors. It's in Cambridge, like on Mass Ave, and it was, I think it's on Mass Ave, and people would always go there for their Halloween costumes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. See, this is my memory again. You could buy clothing by the pound.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, on Mass Ave, and it was called. Oh man, it's going to drive me crazy.
Not the Factory,
no, but something like that.
Like that.
I don't have my phone in here, otherwise I'd look it up. But it's huge. It's like a factory. It's big, and there's a section that has clothing on the floor that it's like used to be like $5 a bag. I don't know what it is now. Then they'd have a section of vintage hanging up, better vintage.
Yeah.
Then they have the costume section. Yes.
Right. And all of my friends at that time, now I was in my 20s then, 20s and 30s. But we used to go there for our Halloween costumes.
Yeah, because they have them. They have a ton of
wonderful.
costumes.
I will try to look that up and send it when I send the email.
I used to know that right like that, and I can't. My husband and I have been before.
It's been years. It's been so many years. I mean, I've lived in Dedham now almost 30 years, but it was when I lived there. When I first came to Boston.
It just won't, these things won't come to me anymore.
Very cool.
I think it's still there.
I'll try to look it up.
It's the garment district.
Yeah.
And the garment district. Thank you. The garment district. That's it. Yep.
That's it. Yeah. That's right. Okay. All right, good. So that's to answer Karen's question. Yep. So then Charlene said belly dancer scarf. That's great. Great ideas. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
And then Ginger said, Karen, your excitement is infectious. Thank you so much for a lovely presentation.
Oh, thank you.
And Wendy says, inspires creativity. And good. Helen says, the session has encouraged me to try something new. What are one or two clothing items that I can buy to easily transform my look other than a purse? And then she said, I have never been to Savers, but I will go after tonight.
Oh, that's great.
Good for you, Helen. Yeah.
I'm so happy to inspire you. As far as clothing goes, excuse me, if you want to go beyond accessories, you could do like a jacket that, try something you never would have had the courage to wear before. You don't have to go as flashy as all sequins like I showed you, but you might find something a little unusual, like the one I showed you, like this one, that, yes, it's almost garish, But if you tone it down with the rest of your outfit, whether it's jeans or something simple, it's a way to. I always look at the jackets and Savers and the other places I go to because they do have unique things. Maybe it's not as colorful. Maybe you'll find something that you like. Maybe it's asymmetric. Maybe it buttons in a different way, so it's not too scary to try out. Or it could be a blouse, like I showed you. It might be a blouse that has a unique neckline that you can even put under a jacket. So you don't even see the whole blouse. You just see a part of it and the interest in the neckline. So those things, I would say, or maybe a pair of pants. I'm trying to think. I have found just a few pair of really crazy pants, and I showed you that one pair, the two pair that I had. But those you can find in thrift stores too, something a little bit unique. The problem is you can't try them on anymore. In most of the thrift stores, that the bigger ones, they don't let you try them on. That's why I like going with the tops. Like I pretty have, you can try this on right in the store too. So I would suggest maybe a jacket with a little bit of detail that's different from what you would normally see or normally wear, not too scary, and or a sweater that has some cool detail on it. That's a good way to start without going all out and then saying, I just want to crawl into a hole. This isn't me. Start with something that you think could be you, something that, geez, I've always wanted to try that, but I've never done it before. So it should be reflecting who you are, not trying to be somebody you're not, because then you won't be comfortable wearing it. So hope that helps.
Helen, I hope that answers your question. And you can always unmute yourself to ask Karen anything else that you like. Okay. Speaking of which, Karen, how do you feel about those off-kilter necklines that you see? You know how you see those? They're not.
So it's asymmetric, you mean?
Yeah, asymmetric necklines. Yeah,
I like that. I've always loved that. Whether it's the way something buttons or the way something is cut, so it's a little off center. I've always loved that. I think it's amazing, and that's something that's classic too. It doesn't even have to be something that's trending or that's a fashion fad. It's if you see a different cut like that, a lot of times it's become almost a classic, like, because you'll see it come back again and again and again.
Yeah, you're seeing this more. You see it more. And how do you like the dresses or the tops that only have one sleeve?
I don't like it. That's not me.
I don't like that either.
I don't like it. It's not me. I'm not a strapless person. I'm not. I think strapless looks great on some people. It's just not good for my body shape. It just doesn't work for me. So there are things that I would never wear. What did I see recently that I said? It was I like being tailored and covered up. I do. I'm not one to just show a lot of. It's just not me. Never really has been. So you have to go with what you feel comfortable in, but maybe the pattern will be different. Not so much the cut of something, but the pattern, the colors might be a little bit different than what you've tried in the past.
Yeah, and maybe you could wear something that had straps, but then put a jacket over or a sweater over it. See, that's how I tend to feel. Yeah,
I don't. When that cold shoulder from the early '90s, I had a leotard like that.
Oh yeah,
cold shoulder was great then. It came back. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I know.
That wasn't good to begin with. Let's not bring that back again. So it's your choice.
So okay, one more question for you. When you see people that wear leggings, but they don't wear a long top, do you know that look? I always wear like a long top because I don't want to have my bum showing.
I'm with you, Jean. I'm with you. But you know what? I want at the same time people to just wear what they want, even if it's to us. It's
some people have these great, they're so trim and everything.
Yeah, but it doesn't. And I would never be, I'm not comfortable like that. I would have to wear, there's so many beautiful jackets that are longer or tunic styles.
Or wear a little skirt over it.
Or a little skirt. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. A little skirt over it would look really cool. It's just not me, but I don't want to say, you shouldn't be wearing that. And because I don't believe that. I'm just wondering, But yeah, in my opinion, no, it's a don't for me. So I don't think it's attractive. I don't think it's attractive. Even if a person is really trim, I still don't like.
Or petite. If they're petite, it's kind of a different thing. Like I'm very tall and, long ears, my mother would say. So yeah. Okay, so we got to get through all these questions. So Charlene says she suggests the closet exchange in Needham, which is good. Thank you, Charlene, for that.
Thank you. I've never heard of that, but Needham, I've been to Needham to do stuff before. Thank you.
And Paulette suggests boomerangs. And you know what, Paulette, my son worked there when he was in high school, actually. Boomerangs. I forgot about that. There's one in West Roxbury, and I think there's some other ones too.
And that's a buy-sell trade too, which is cool.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, you can bring things in and get credit for other things in the store.
Oh, so it's boomerangs? At Boomerang?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's buy-sell trade. So it's really cool.
My son kept bringing a lot of things home. I remember that. Which are all in my house. Charlene suggests Thrift Store of Boston, Rosendale Bureau, Thrift Store in Quincy, Vinnie's in Stoughton. Oh, thank you. That's great. Oh, that's good. Yeah, are you talking about the one that sells by the pound? This is what Charlene's asking.
Yeah, that was the garment district. The garment district.
Yes, on Mass Ave. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Wendy's saying pound a penny, and garment district. Charlie says, and then Donna says Buffalo Exchange. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And then Charlie, the garment district. Can you talk about tailoring?
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that because I wanted to include it, and thank you for that. You can take, and I'm sure you know this, I don't sew, so I have to take, if I need something fitted, I need to take it to fit me. And I don't mind doing that. Let me tell you, you can take the most inexpensive thing you've ever found, have them, and think about it, you didn't pay much. So you could have enough left over to pay a tailor to fit it to you, and it makes it look 100 times more expensive. It just changes the whole thing. Like you could wear something and all of a sudden it's fitted to your body and now it looks rich. Now it looks expensive. So you pay a lot less for the clothing at a thrift store. Now you can pay a tailor to make it look really fabulous. So I hope that helps. And I'm going to give you an example real quick.
Cool.
My friend and I, the one we do the theme dinners and stuff, we wanted to go to a tea and wear almost like a Civil War style, like from the mid 1800s. So in our thrift store, we sell prom gowns for like $20. And so people who can't afford expensive ones. Well, I found this one and it was awful on top. I would never have worn it. But the tailor, let me show you what she did real quick here. Oh, I know it's going to be hard to see. She cut off the top and fitted the waistline to me. And this sash was already there. Look at this. It's a costume piece, obviously. Beautiful. So if I'm doing Civil War again, I've done that before for events, and it has a long, long, long bow. But if you'd seen the dress before, you'd say, oh, geez, that's a bit much. It was strapless and all that. But she made a really expensive looking skirt out of that $20 dress. Beautiful. So yes, if that's a long answer to the tailoring question, I say, you tailor something, you're making it your own, and you're making it look fantastic. Yes.
That's great.
Tailoring, it's not cheap, but if you haven't paid much for the garment, it might be well worth it to you because you'll wear it.
That's great. Karen, we haven't had your Civil Wars fashion talk, have we?
We can do that maybe another time. That's a fun one.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, and Helen says, thank you, very helpful. Charlene says, Boomerangs is closing. Oh.
Oh, no.
Did it already close, Charlene? Do you know? Oh, I don't know.
So there's an article in the Globe that they're shutting down, and so the West Roxbury one closed a while ago. There's still the one in JP, and then there's a high-end one that's in the South End. And I think they're closing by mid-June.
Okay, well, all you thrifters should rush on over.
Get over there and get the goods while you
over there.
But like I said, small places are terrific. So don't be afraid to.
You know what? I just want to say too, I live in Dedham and I know in Norwood there's a place called the Winsmith Mill, which actually had
I've been years ago.
Winsmith, and it has all wonderful antique and vintage places in it. I had a fire, and I think they rebuilt and stuff. But my son used to have some rehearsal space there, music rehearsal space. They have different small businesses and things, but it's really a great place. There's a wonderful place for so that's in Norwood on Washington Street, Route 1. So just so you guys know,
well worth a visit for sure.
Yes. So Lisa is asking, my friend Lisa here, she says, Jean, could you put a list together of thrift stores and mail it to us? I will do that.
Oh, thank you. Because I can't really, because you've got
have all the contact people. Yeah. And then Karen, could you talk about a person's colors and how we would figure out on our own?
Oh, well, I do a whole thing on that. But I still have, at one point, the early 90s, I was an image consultant for beauty control, which was very similar to Mary Kay. So I still have the drapes. And just last week, I did for a senior residence community, I did the Shop Your Closet. So I did something similar to what I'm just doing now. But I also brought my drapes. So I took a few people from the audience, and they were so funny. Like I'd put a certain color up and they'd say, oh no, that looks terrible. Put a different one on from another palette. And oh yeah, that's great. So that Color Me Beautiful book that came out in the 80s, I don't care what anybody says, it's still relevant. It's still, if you put on a color that matches your skin tone and hair color and all that, your eyes are whiter, your teeth are whiter, you've got pink in your cheeks where you might not with a color that isn't in your palette. So that's a whole, I can totally do that. A good way to, though, be just to test on your own is, do you look better in bright white or off-white? And chances are, almost every time, if you're a bright white person, when you put that up against your face, preferably with no makeup, because that's going to tell the truth. If it's bright white, you are a cool. So you'd either be a winter or a summer. Summer would just be a little bit more softer colors, but they would be a winter that's all cool. If you look better in off-white, and you can get away with things like rust against your face, against your skin, which I can't, that's a warm. So an autumn or a spring. And most redheads, natural redheads, are either going to be an autumn or a spring. They have the warm palette. So I hope that helps. And if I can do that, maybe at another session, we can do color, like a color consultation. And, I'd love to help you. That's one of the things I'm going to do on the website, is try to get more information out there to you and have some even private consults, even virtually, if you want to do something like that. So that's coming.
That's great. So we might be able to have that program. And I just want to tell everybody, speaking of colors, makeup in particular, I've just set up a makeup demonstration by a professional makeup artist. She's actually going to bring her makeup chair. She allows 20 people, and it's going to be on June 10th, and it's an in-person in the Keys Community Room. So if anybody wants to sign up for that, please join us.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, she's going to choose one person from the audience to use as the model to make them up. Yeah, so I thought that would be kind of fun. Yeah, I'm thinking we're going to have to do it a second time, because I bet we're going to get a lot of people who want to come to see that. Yeah,
I know.
It was recommended by a library on the North Shore, and I thought this would be so cool.
Good.
Yeah, so
good. I know with me, I can't wear the amount of makeup I used to be able to because of my skin. It just brings out stuff I don't want to be seen, like more lines and all that. So I've been saying, even though I know a lot about it, I used to work in the industry, I feel like I need a professional person again to kind of say, okay, your eyes are disappearing, you're getting older. How are we going to bring them out without looking like a clown? So that's great. I'm sure you'll get a great response.
She does all kinds of celebrities, and for television and for the news staff and all this. That's what she does. She's very, very busy with her business doing this, and I think it will be an interesting program. So
let me know how it goes.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. So I just want to say one thing about myself, which is that I'm going to miss wearing my clothes when I'm not, if I retire, because I'm actually getting kind of close to retirement at this point. And so I love all my clothes, but I mean, I can't imagine, you see people who retire in their home in their sweats every day.
Don't do it.
I'm going to have to find places to wear.
Yes. And you know what? Even if you wear it at home, I know it sounds crazy, But even if you wear some of your favorite things at home, you're going to feel better. You know, you're going to feel better just wearing the stuff you love.
It's true. My husband said to me I should go and offer to work for Frugal Fannies. That's what he told me.
How do you feel
for Fanny? Well, I don't know. I mean, it'd be kind of fun maybe, but we'll see. We'll see. I know. I do enjoy the clothes though.
Oh yeah,
putting the colors together and all that.
When you get back from your trip, we'll talk. Maybe we can figure something out.
Very good. I'll check out. I'm going to Italy, everybody. I'm going to Italy.
Yeah, have a wonderful time.
The Amalfi Coast, and we're going to an island off the coast, and so I'll check out all the fashions when I'm there.
And eat some great pasta for me, will you?
Okay.
Eat some.
I will. Now let's see. Do we have any other? Oh, there's a couple more messages here. Let me just read those to you. Let's see. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so Charlene gave us a really great list, some contacts for some of these thrift stores. Thank you so much, Charlene, for that.
Thank you.
And
great.
So Lisa said, what if you have white hair? That was her question.
Okay, it's funny that you say that. White hair is white. I think you can wear more colors when your hair is white, but it's still, your best colors are still going to be based on what your original natural color was, because that was meant to go with your skin. You know what I mean? What was natural. But I think when you have white hair, I've seen women look better in more colors than maybe they could have before. So you have to test it out. But your skin tone, if you test different colors on, like I said, white against off-white, see how your teeth and whites of your eyes look, comparing those two. When are they brighter, the white or the off-white? And that's going to give you a starting point to know, are you cool colors or warm colors? Yeah.
We're going to have Karen come back and do this Color Me Beautiful program. Don't you think so, ladies?
That'd be fun.
So. Yeah.
It's still, relevant. It's still relevant today. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. This was really interesting. And Donna says, very enjoyable, well done and inspiring. And Charlene wants to do the makeup. She's saying, the makeup.
Good girl. Yeah. You go for it.
And Wendy is thanking you as well. And it was really wonderful, as usual. Karen, I really enjoyed it so much, and I think we all did. So, and thank everybody for being here. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming, everyone.
I will definitely be having her back, because there's a whole lot of topics we haven't talked about.
We've got a lot to do.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. And so at this point, we're going to close pretty soon. So I'm going to say good night. And
thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy shopping, everybody. Happy fashion. And I'll hope to see you next time. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Karen.